What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly breakdown. My name is Josh.
And my name is Taylor.
And we are the WDW Couple.
We are.
Another week in a row. This is 3 weeks in a row now that we've posted a podcast. I mean, we're recording it at least. I don't know if it'll actually get posted.
It'll get posted.
So something that I thought we could maybe start doing, which is not in our script here, is just letting you know that if you haven't been around or you just showed up, I don't know, something, but just a little plugs for us. This past week we posted on Monday, make your own ohana wings and noodles, which I won't spoil it for you, but I at least show you guys how to do it, the ingredients that you need, and it's actually pretty simple. And then on...
Well, before you say what else we have done, that's our second Disney Dining at Home video that we have made. We did the Canadian cheddar cheese soup the week before, and that's because we're not able to go out and make our normal Monday dining reviews. So if you don't know, we do dining reviews every single Monday on our YouTube channel, and since we aren't able to do our official dining reviews, we are making Disney magic moments at home.
Sure.
That's a new hashtag going on right now, Disney magic moments, but...
and then I think something's probably going to get posted on Wednesday. We're recording this on Tuesday. And then, of course, Thirsty Thursdays for Copycat Cocktails. We have got, if you haven't already, go check out our Onward-inspired drinks that we made this week. They should be pretty cool. We did 2 alcoholic drinks and a mocktail, so even the kids can have fun. Or you can just sit down and watch it if you haven't already, because it was just released on Disney+. Plus.
And actually, both drinks that we made this week can be a mocktail if you just leave out the alcohol.
Yep, pretty much.
And they're cute.
They are. So each and every week, the weekly breakdown is brought to you by Gold Gal Getaways. No matter the trip, whether you have small kids, big kids, or no kids at all, we have agents who can help you plan your next destination vacation to Florida or any other place around the world. You can submit a quote in the show notes, and a agent will get back to you with a quote or for more information. Each and every week, this is also brought to you by JTR Media, which is our little side hustle video business that we've got going on, creating magical moments such as weddings, engagements. We are now booking photo sessions. I actually just booked one today.
Oh, you did?
Yep, which is pretty cool. It's not till September, so fingers crossed that somewhat back normal by then.
I think we should be hopefully back to normal by then.
It's a long ways away, but...
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping,
But if you're interested in having those moments captured, whether it's here in the parks or destination wedding someplace else, you can submit a quote in the show notes, or you can head on over to you can head over to jtrmedia.org or email me at info@jtrmedia.org.
Let's jump into the group cruises. We are currently booking for 2 WDW Couple group cruises. This will be cruise number 2 and cruise number 3. So we got back in January from our Royal Caribbean cruise on the Harmony of the Seas, and our next one is going to be August 22nd to the 25th in 2020 on the Disney Fantasy out of Port Canaveral. Like I said, this is a group cruise. It is a very short cruise, but it's a good way to get your feet wet in a cruise, or if you just love Disney cruises and, they're kind of expensive, a shorter one is a lot cheaper. So we will be stopping at Castaway Cay, and if you're going to go on a Disney cruise, you need to stop at Castaway Cay because that is the best. And we do have a form that you can fill out in the show notes if you would like to join us, or you can always email events@goldgogetaways.com and let them know you'd like to go on our Disney Fantasy group cruise. Now, like I said, we have 2 group cruises coming up, so our other one is on the Royal Caribbean Ovation of the Seas. It's going to be a 7-night Alaskan cruise in July 2021. We actually already have the dates booked. I just forgot to put the date in there. It's out of Seattle, Washington. And you can email events@goldgogetaways.com to join us on that cruise. So make sure if you email, you specify which one of the group cruises you would like to go on with the WDW Couple, and they will get you squared away. We actually already have quite a few people for the Alaskan one, which isn't until 2021. So it's pretty exciting. I can't wait. I'm ready to go to Alaska.
Should be fun.
Yep.
And of course, as always, a great way to help sponsor us and keep all the content coming and some new things is through Patreon. We've got some awesome patrons over there helping to support us each and every month. So if you would be interested in doing that, you can go to patreon.com/the WDW Couple. Anyways, all right, moving on to this week's breakdown. We thought we would talk about Disney private VIP tours and what that really means. Is it really worth it to get those? What does it include? What doesn't it include? All types of things like that, because it may or may not make your vacation a little bit better.
Yes, so we have actually been on a few VIP tours with some of our friends, and we've had some really great experiences utilizing the VIP tour service. So it's like Josh said, it's definitely something that could make your vacation like super smooth. Especially, you can use them for just one day, which is what we have done, or you can actually book them like for your whole stay. Now it's going to be quite expensive if you end up doing that, but it's an option.
Yeah, and I think sometimes VIP tour guides or the VIP tour itself gets a negative connotation because it is relatively expensive. And so it kind of is like this, well, only an upper class person can afford it. But while there are a lot of people like that who do that, it's actually probably a pretty good option for large groups to utilize the service as well.
And then split the cost.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about exactly what a private VIP tour is when you come to Walt Disney World.
Okay, so Disney basically offers a private VIP tour, which is where guests work with the Disney VIP tour services to create basically a custom day at Walt Disney World. So the guide will serve as a concierge for you and an actual guide around the parks. And with Disney official tours, which this is officially booked through Walt Disney World, it's not just somebody like third party that you booked through outside. These people are very, very knowledgeable cast members, which is like super important, I think, whenever you go on a Disney VIP tour.
Absolutely. And as Taylor was mentioning, there are actually people who do third-party tours. Now, the difference about this is, number one, is probably going to be price, but number two is that those third-party VIP tour guides are not going to have the exact same access that you're going to get.
So they're not really VIP.
Exactly. And so that's a really big, important difference to maintain and know here, because sometimes people do get confused, and that's what they think they're getting a VIP tour guide through Disney when they book somebody third party. This is totally different and is much better, in my opinion, than using a third party person.
Yeah, I mean, we've never used a third party one, but just from what we've heard and what we have seen, the Disney one is the way to go.
Yeah. Now, each VIP tour does accommodate up to 10 guests with a single guide. And what's really important about that is that those 10 people, I think, can really help to spread out the price. Now, if you're two families, as long as you add up to 10, you don't have to be a total of 10. It can be as small as 3 people, 2 people. We've seen some tours that have only had 2 people going around. But what I think is really great about this is that if you're coming down and you're like a bachelor party, a bachelorette party.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Something like that, where a lot of times they're only coming down for a really short amount of time.
Like a weekend or something.
Yeah. And normally it's like around Food and Wine. And it's like, if you want to spend a whole day at Food and Wine, you can do that. And then you could take your next day and hit all 4 parks if you wanted to with your VIP tour guide, and really cut back on time and different things like that. So with having those 10 guests, you can all just split up the total cost of it.
Yeah. And let me just mention, because I was like, the way Josh was talking about it, I thought of this for some reason. This podcast today is in no way sponsored by Disney. These are our own thoughts and opinions from what we have experienced from a Disney VIP tour. Because it kind of sounded like Josh was like selling it, which, I mean, it kind of was, because they are totally worth it. But yeah, this is all our own thoughts and opinions.
Right.
I just thought I'd let you know that.
Of course.
But yeah, so whenever you do a VIP tour, the guide will actually pick you up at your hotel or wherever you may be in the morning to start. Sometimes you can actually meet them at the park if you want to start right in the park. But when we've done them, they pick us up at the hotel and then drive us to our first destination, wherever that may be.
And I think one of the best times that we had utilizing the VIP tour was opening day of Rise of the Resistance. Because we didn't have to be in that giant rush of people to try and get into the park and grab a boarding pass. What was really great is that they picked us up at the hotel. They took us into the back entrance of Hollywood Studios, and they checked us in right there by scanning our magic bands, and then we were able to easily get, I wouldn't say easily, but we were able to quickly get a boarding pass ourselves.
Yes.
They didn't do it for us. We booked it ourselves, but it avoided that huge crowd of people trying to come into Hollywood Studios and get back into Galaxy's Edge. And it takes away a lot of that stress. And after that, we were also then able to just go do whatever we wanted because we had a return time, and we could just go do what we wanted until that return time occurred.
For all 4 parks, you do have backstage access to enter the park with your guide, which is really nice because then you don't have to go through that herd of people like for rope drop or whatever at the front of the park.
Yeah.
So I think that makes a huge difference.
And another thing that I think we may have skipped over is that it does not include admission to any of the parks. So that is something else you have to think about, is that you do have to have admission to the park. So if you're planning to do 4 parks in one day with a VIP tour guide, you do have to have a park hopper. So it can be a one-day park hopper, but it just has to have something like that.
For us, that's not something we really even have to think about just because we have the Platinum Plus annual pass, so we have no blockout dates and we can go to all 4 parks, including water parks, whenever we want, really.
Right. Could you imagine using a VIP? Like, I wonder if anybody's ever used a VIP tour guide to go to a water park.
I have no idea.
That would be interesting. Like, go to Blizzard Beach and there's that long line for Summit Plummet. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm with the tour guide here. Please take me to the front. And then you don't have to wait.
I have never even thought about that.
We should inquire about that the next time if we do another one.
That's interesting. But the nice thing about the VIP tours is that, like I said, they basically plan your day to do whatever you want, so that not only does that include going on the rides at the parks, even if you just want to do 1 park in the day or you want to go to all 4 parks in a day, this also includes if you want to watch the parade and if there's any shows that you want to go see, you are going to get reserved seating for those as well, which is really nice.
Yeah, and so the thing about that is that when Taylor said this, they kind of plan out your day. Really, they're going to be asking if you want to stop for lunch, where you want to stop for lunch at, if you want to sit down, because really it's very fluid and you can change it at any point in time. You know, if you wanted, let's say if you went into Animal Kingdom first and you're planning to go into Epcot next, if you decide, hey, you know what, I think we want to go to Magic Kingdom instead, you can just go to Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
And so it's not like you really have to worry about having a set schedule, so to speak.
No, we have booked lunches in the past, so we have had to be at our sit-down lunch. But if you just plan to do quick service, which I think quick service would make it more worth it, just because then you're not spending so much time sitting down in a restaurant. So not only are there private VIP tours, but there are some other group VIP tours that you can do. These are completely separate from a Disney VIP tour. They have separate itineraries, and I just wanted to briefly mention them so that you didn't get them confused. And they have the Ultimate Day of Thrills and Taste of Magic Kingdom. Those are both VIP group tours. So the Ultimate Day of Thrills gets you to the front of the line access of like certain thrill rides throughout the day, and then Taste of Magic Kingdom takes you throughout the park to basically have little snacks of different things throughout the park. But these tours, unlike the VIP tour that we're talking about, the private VIP tour, these are not customizable in any way. Like I said already, set itineraries, but these tours are not customizable. They are specific days of the week, set times of the week, and not like the private VIP tours that we are talking about today. There are group VIP tours that Disney specifically sets up, and you can book them to go on these tours. I've heard of some people going on these. We haven't done either one of these ones. We have done Backstage Magic Tour, which is by Adventures by Disney, so that's completely different. And that was awesome.
But it was very cool.
Yeah. And since Josh is still over there choking on his water, Disney VIP tours are available by reservation only. So you can't just walk into Magic Kingdom in the morning and be like, I want to do a Disney VIP tour. Where do I book this? You can't exactly book it for that day. You have to book it in advance. And they do book up quickly, and you can book them 180 days in advance, just kind of like your dining reservations. So your reservation date and time and pricing will be determined by calling the Disney VIP tour number, which is 407-560-4033, just in case you were wondering.
So now,
you better now?
Yeah, I think so. I'm kind of crying.
Oh my gosh, are you? Eyes are watering.
All right. So now that you have a pretty good idea of what a VIP tour is and kind of how they operate and what they do, we can kind of talk about why we think that it's a really good way to save time on your next vacation. Because like I said, about having like a bachelorette party where, and I say that because it seems always during Food and Wine that we see.
Oh yeah, we do.
Dozens of them throughout the season.
Yep.
Coming down. They've all got their shirts on. And so why is that such a great thing to do and to have? And because the biggest reason is time. Like, VIP tour will save you a lot of time.
You have limited time in the parks probably when you come down on your vacation. And if you're not a Disney planning pro like some people, that'd be me, or if you don't have a travel agent that, has planned something perfect for you, a VIP tour can be a really great way to maximize your time in the parks. And your guide before your tour will discuss with you, or VIP services will discuss with you, like what your must-dos are for your tour. That way they can make sure they hit up those attractions or shows or whatever it may be that you really want to do, or that your party wants to do. For
example, if you're a thrill seeker or a thrill avoider, they can also take that into account, especially with kids, which is really nice. Yeah. And focus on things that everybody's going to enjoy. So, and what I think is really nice about that too is that when you tell them what your general plans are for the day, each time, normally I think we always end up starting in Animal Kingdom for the most part, just because we get Flight of Passage out of the way, and then normally we'll do like Expedition Everest, and we normally will avoid the safari because it takes up so much time. It's a long one. But with that being said, our tour guide is always checking the time and always asking, hey, do you still want to go do this next? If you guys want to, it might be a good idea to make our way back and get headed. So they're always trying to make sure that you're using your time as efficiently as you as can be used. But also, again, it's fluid. If you want to stay, if you want to ride Flight of Passage 5 times, you can do that.
We did
really
do it
nice.
Twice once.
We did. We went right back to back.
The crowd, so we went to Animal Kingdom like right at 9 o'clock one morning. And your guide, actually, I don't think I mentioned this yet, you basically have front of the line access to all of the rides with your guide. So you don't have to book fast passes for your VIP tour. Like, they take care of all of that. So they scan and then they walk you through the fast pass line. They say, like, if there's 6 of you in the party, they'll be like, we have 6 of us, and then you walk through. So the one nice thing I was thinking about when we were talking about, like, if you have kids in your party, the last time we did a VIP tour, we had a few of us that wanted to go do Na'vi River Journey, and the rest of us wanted to do Flight of Passage. So since the line for Na'vi is so short, like that fast pass queue, our tour guide actually walked the few of them into Na'vi River Journey, got them on the ride, and then took the rest of us over to Flight of Passage. So that was really nice that we were able to do that. So we all got to do what we wanted to in Pandora.
Yep.
Now, we mentioned about being backstage whenever you enter the parks. Like, they park you in a backstage parking lot and then walk you in through like a different like cast member entrance, basically. But that is like one of the ways that it like helps you save time, because you don't have to go through the main security at the front. You go through like their security in the back, and then they scan your tickets right there, and then you walk right in the park. You don't have to stand in any lines waiting to get in the park or go through security, and it's just a much more efficient way to manage your time during the day.
Yeah, because even if you're a master planner, one thing that you really cannot avoid is transportation from park to park.
Yeah, that's another thing.
And I mean, you could use
Uber, Lyft, whatever, minivans.
You could use the minivans, but that adds up really quickly. I mean, it can get pretty expensive.
Minivans are expensive,
especially just getting from park to park. And a minivan doesn't. I think at one point they may have dropped off somewhat back. No, they don't. They don't drop off backstage at all.
No, they drop off at the bus stops.
At the bus stops. So that's a huge difference between being able to totally avoid all of the people up at the front entrance, to avoid all the traffic for the most part.
Yep.
I think the only time that... Nope, that was with the minivan. I was going to say that one time we went to Disney Springs.
Nope, that was with the minivan.
That was with the minivan. So
on Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, the private vehicle that you get is just like a Disney van or... Suburban or something like that. So it helps to just, like, I can't stress enough how much time it really, really does save, especially going into Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
You know, Magic Kingdom, they'll drop you right off basically on the side of Main Street USA in the back lot area, and you just go right out.
Now, minivans drop you off at the bus stop at Magic Kingdom, but Lyfts and Ubers have to drop you off at the TTC.
Right.
So you still have to get the whole way over there. So the transportation with the VIP tours is wonderful.
Yep. And the other thing about that too, with that backstage drop-off access, I like to think of like Epcot and Hollywood Studios. No, even Animal Kingdom. I think Magic Kingdom is probably the only one that they don't do this. But in Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and in Animal Kingdom, they can basically drop you off backstage almost right next to the attractions that you want to ride.
Yeah, for a few of them.
Which is huge, because now not only did you cut off the transportation by a bus or with a minivan, you've cut off all the people up front. You've now cut off that walking distance.
So like at Hollywood Studios, they drop you off near Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. So if you want to do those two, when you get to Hollywood Studios and when you leave Hollywood Studios, like they're right there by where the car is going to be. And then at Epcot, I think we were close to Soarin'?
No. Test track side, right?
Oh, were we on test track?
I thought so.
I'm pretty sure we ended up on both sides.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then at Animal Kingdom, you're right near Pandora, which is awesome. Because, I mean, when you do a VIP tour, you want to do Flight of Passage.
Right.
But, yeah, so maximizing time is basically the main thing with a VIP tour. But... the next best thing is the ability to skip the lines, which I already kind of mentioned that, like, we were able to do Navi River Journey, and then the rest of us went and did Flight of Passage. So that's, like, the best thing. So let me make sure I, like, restate this. The VIP tour gives you access to the Fast Pass line and not straight to the front of the line. Now, there's a few that they get you, like, kind of past the Fast Pass part. But... you basically go through the Fast Pass line with your VIP tour guide, but you do not have to book a Fast Pass for that. They are your Fast Pass. Your unlimited Fast Pass for your VIP day.
Yep. Another good example of utilizing VIP tour guide was some of our friends did it when they opened up Toy Story Land.
Oh, yeah, they did.
And so they were able to do Slinky Dog multiple times, and they were able to do Alien Swirling Saucers, and then once they had their fill, they could just go and move on and do other things in the park, or they could leave and go someplace else.
But I think they stayed in Toy Story Land for quite a while and went back and forth between the two rides.
They did, and they rode Slinky Dog several times, like a lot, which is really cool. And again, it's not like it has to just be you and somebody else. You know, it was almost, it might have been 10 people.
I think it was 10 people.
And they, you know, and that's a really great benefit of that. You're completely avoiding the crowds for the most part. I mean, you still do have to wait in a slight Fast Pass line, but normally that's only a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
So.
Unfortunately, they didn't let us do that on opening day of Rise of the Resistance. Yeah. You still had to get a boarding pass. But we were fortunate enough, we did get there early, and we got boarding passes. So, and it was perfect timing. It was at the we got called for our boarding passes, like, while we were at lunch. And then by the time we got back to Hollywood Studios, like, our tour was over, and we got on Rise of the Resistance, and it was, like, a perfect end to that day.
And to also add on to that as well is, depending on if you want to plan your day out, like, let's say if you want to end at a certain park, you know, you don't necessarily have to start your VIP tour first thing in the morning. You can start it later in the day and end later in the evening if you want.
Yes.
You know, we did,
And I think it's like a pay per hour thing.
Right.
So it's a minimum amount of hours that you have to book, and then you can book more hours if you want. So you could book from park opening to park close if you want.
Yeah.
Or like you said, start later in the day and end later in the day.
And one time we utilized it to actually go see Festival of the Fantasy Parade, which was awesome because we had a very special viewing area up on top of the train station.
Yep.
So it was totally closed off
And they had
only
snacks.
VIP tour guides. They had snacks, they had water, and you just had this really great view of the parade as it came down Main Street and it came around that little hub area right there.
That was probably one of my favorite viewings of Festival of Fantasy Parade.
Right.
Was at the end of our tour that day.
Yeah.
It was so awesome.
It was cool.
I loved that. Yeah, up on the Main Street train station. They actually have, since we're talking about it, they actually have 2 spots that you can view the parade from if you want the VIP tour seating for the parade. And that's no extra or anything. You just have to say that you want that.
Right.
There's down in the little, like, town square hub area, like where the flagpole's at, there's a reserved seating area down there, like right along the sidewalk or the street. And then there's also the one that we used, which was up on top of the Main Street station. And we actually got like we must have got there like perfect timing, because we got the spots like right in the middle.
Yep.
And we were able to see the castle and all the floats coming down Main Street, and then just like right around in front of us, like Peter Pan and Wendy, when you're down on the ground, they're so high up in the air, but where we were, they were like right in front of us, and it was awesome.
It was probably one of the best places to be able to watch the parade.
We got a lot of really good pictures. I don't think we took video when we were up there.
There were a few okay pictures. I didn't have a really good lens. I didn't have the right lens to take photos.
Okay, but it was really cool to be up there.
It was.
So we did already talk about pricing can be expensive for these tours, and the pricing, like I said, when you call to book it, they will give you the pricing of the tour, because they have you book like a minimum amount of hours, and then then you can pay per hour by that afterwards.
It's seasonal pricing just like anything else.
Yep.
Christmas time, it's going to be far more expensive than it is going to be if you just wait until literally after New Year's, the price will drop. Because it's considered the value.
And that's exactly what it was like. This wasn't a VIP tour, but we did the Wild Africa Trek at Animal Kingdom. And in the summertime, because it's really hot, it's a lot cheaper to do the Wild Africa Trek.
Off.
Yes. Now, when you do it at Christmas time, it is very expensive.
It is.
Because that's when we did it. But it was still really fun because I had been dying to do that. But anyway, we're talking about VIP tour right now. But yeah, I think it says a minimum of 7-hour tour. And like Josh has been saying, like since the beginning of this podcast, if you have, multiple families, like say you have a bunch of couples, or if you have a bunch of singles, like if you do a bachelorette or bachelor party, whatever, something like that, if each person pays their own way, or you pay like per couple,
right,
it's still going to be kind of expensive, but you are cutting that cost down so much than if one person were to pay for the whole thing.
You got to think about it as it is still a concierge level of service.
Yes.
But I think that it still pays for itself whenever you split that up and think about all of the benefits that come with it. So one thing that we didn't really mention is that meals, if you do choose to sit down and eat, that is not included. You will still have to pay for that yourself. And in that instance, I would actually more recommend you probably not have a sit-down meal, because that, again, is taking away from your day. So I would try to do maybe something more like quick servicey if you can. But really, if you just let your tour guide know where you want to eat, I'm pretty sure that they make that reservation for you.
Yes.
And if you hear scratching in the background, it's because Sully is once again trying to dig a hole to China through the carpet.
Yeah, and I think I said it already, but they offer you snacks. So, I talked about up at the Main Street Railroad Station during the parade. They have snacks and bottled water there for you. And then I know whenever we've gone to Magic Kingdom and when we've gotten to Hollywood Studios.
All of them have snacks and water. I think just sometimes they're just not, they don't have a lot of, sometimes they just don't have those cast members out there.
I just don't think I've seen them there.
Hollywood Studios and
Magic Kingdom, they're always there.
Okay, maybe not at Animal Kingdom.
And I've never seen them at Epcot. But we've only done Epcot once.
Right. But
they have snacks, and by snacks I mean like they have like candy and chips and
like
the
Starburst,
applesauce stuff. Yeah, we always get the Starburst.
Starburst, Lay's chips, barbecue chips, things of that nature.
Yep, and then bottled water if you want some water. I think they normally have granola bars too, something like that. Yeah, so when it's a good opportunity to take advantage of a snack whenever they give that to you, because then you don't have to worry about going and standing in line to stop for a snack later. Right. Because, the VIP tour can't make you skip everybody in the line to go get a pretzel.
Exactly.
But they can get you through the Fast Pass line.
Now, another thing, too, that I think to take into consideration when you're doing a VIP tour guide, and what Taylor really loves, is that they should be extremely knowledgeable about all things Disney trivia.
And they have been.
So far they have been. A lot of little details that you might find if you read enough Disney history and books and things like that. But I think what's really great is that there's just a lot of things that even while you're walking around the park, they're just willing to tell you about and give you more information about whether it's an attraction or the park itself or Walt Disney or something.
Yeah, and a really nice thing is, they don't overwhelm you with knowledge, and they don't try and overwhelm you with conversation. If you want to talk to them and involve them in your conversations, they are totally about it. If you don't want to talk to them at all, they're also totally fine with that. But we love the tour guides that we have had, so I'm always trying to ask them questions, because I want to get their Disney knowledge, and obviously they can't give you anything insider that's not released to the public,
right.
But they will give you, if you want to know where some hidden Mickeys are at, or if you want to know some Disney trivia. I remember the one time we were walking through Hollywood Studios, and I was like, just give me something Disney trivia that I might not know. And we were actually talking about some stuff from the Great Movie Ride, because the Great Movie Ride at the time was closed and was not open for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway yet. And so we were talking about the Wicked Witch from Mickey and Minnie's, or from Mickey and Minnie's, from the Great Movie Ride. It's now red over in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
Because the audio animatronic, the way it was built, was just able to move so fluidly and everything that it just worked to be red.
But they are super knowledgeable, and they're really great. And don't be afraid to ask questions if you want to ask questions.
Yeah, any history they want to tell you or you want to know.
Right.
They're really good at that kind of stuff. And their level of service overall, not just being knowledgeable in Disney, they just want to make sure you have a great day. So Josh, I know, had talked about it already, they're willing to change and go do whatever you want to do. So say you didn't have a meal planned and you were just going to do quick service wherever you felt like it at some point in time. If you went to Animal Kingdom in the morning and your plan was to go to Magic Kingdom after that, and you got to Animal Kingdom and were like, I don't want to leave, I want to stay here longer, that's totally fine. They will do whatever you feel like doing. And
I think the other nice thing about them being there with kids and everything else is that I have seen them very interactive with children, and they've done a really great job. There's also been times where they're just a stroller holder. So they'll take you in and get you up into the line, do whatever you want to do, and then they're literally just there with your stroller. So if you've got stuff in your backpack or whatever, they'll hang out and watch it, and they'll be waiting right at the end of the line. I
have actually seen them. Maybe I just didn't see the parent or the other family member, but this was somebody else's tour that we just happened to walk past. I saw a tour guide standing there with a stroller. The kid might have been 5 or 6 that didn't want to go on the thrill ride and was just sitting there in the stroller. I want to say it was Everest or something. And maybe. The kid was there with the tour guide in the stroller, no big deal. So
yeah, and that may have been a unique situation where that family has done one before, and they knew that tour guide, and the kid or children really enjoyed that tour guide.
When we've gone with our friends, they will typically, one of them will ride and one will stay back.
You can actually request a tour guide. So if you've gone before and you've done it, no. You can request to have the same person if you'd like. So if they did a really great job. But yeah.
Which I don't doubt that they will do a great job.
With a VIP tour guide, they take a lot of the stress and anxiety out of planning a Disney vacation. Now, obviously, a Disney vacation is normally more than just 1 or 2 days.
Yes.
But
And that's where your Disney travel agent would take the stress away from the rest of your trip.
Exactly.
But this one day with a Disney VIP tour, this will take the stress away from that whole entire day.
Exactly. Again, I mean, this is, I really think that if you're coming down for a short trip, you want to try and maximize the amount of time that you have in the parks. You want to try and really ride a lot of those attractions. This is the best way to do it.
I mean, you could literally go in. We love to start at Animal Kingdom because we like to get Flight of Passage first thing in the morning. I mean, that's pretty much what we've done. So Flight of Passage, Everest, Safari if we have time for it, and then head over to Hollywood Studios, Slinky Dog Dash, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, lunch somewhere in there. And then we typically head to Magic Kingdom, kind of skip Epcot.
We don't normally do Epcot.
No, I feel like we don't. But then at Magic Kingdom, like Mine Train, Space Mountain, whatever else you feel like you want to do.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's really meant to try and tackle those attractions that do have a longer wait time, that are a little bit difficult to get a fast pass for.
And depending how fast you can walk, you can get a lot of that stuff done in that period of time.
Yep.
So if you hustle from attraction to attraction, and this is a time, so Josh and I, our last podcast, we actually talked about if you did one day at Magic Kingdom. And we talked about how you, you're probably not going to do the attractions in order going around the park from land to land. This is one of those times when you can do that because you don't have to worry about what the wait time is, and you don't have to worry if you have a fast pass for it or not. So if you wanted to conquer all of Magic Kingdom, you could literally start in Tomorrowland and then go to Storybook Circus, Fantasyland, Liberty Square, Frontierland, and then Adventureland, and literally do the whole entire park with your tour guide.
And that would be the best way to do it.
And that would be the best way to do it because you'd also be maximizing your own time by going in order around the park.
And your feet.
And your feet, definitely. Because, I mean, it is a lot of walking because you're mostly just doing attractions when you do a VIP tour.
Yeah.
So make sure you wear your walking shoes. We always do.
Yep.
Our sneaks.
Yep, I wouldn't recommend it if you're planning on trying to enjoy a festival or anything like that. This really needs to be set on
doing attractions
in the parks, which is why they do have a set itinerary for the thrill seekers that the attractions one.
The ultimate day of thrills.
Which is set for those people looking to do the thrill rides, and those thrill rides are normally hard to get with Fast Pass, and they do have a longer line.
So I'm not sure if they have special firework viewing because we honestly haven't done one into the evening. The latest we have finished is for Festival of Fantasy Parade.
About 3 o'clock or something. 2 o'clock.
You can always request that whatever time you want it to start and finish, you can request that you want to go to the fireworks at whatever park at the end of the day, whether that's Epcot Forever, I think that's until Harmonious starts. I keep wanting to say Illumination still because I was looking at pictures at it the other day, or Happily Ever After at Magic Kingdom, or if you want to do Festival of Fantasy Parade like we did. You can also even do shows like the Beauty and the Beast show over at Hollywood Studios. They have special seating for pretty much all that kind of stuff, so...
Yeah, they do. And if they don't, it's just more of you're going in through the
fast pass.
The fast pass line, not the VIP
which is
line.
still much better than just trying to get regular standby seating and waiting in line. I don't know, but it's definitely a nice feeling just not being stressed out during the day. I think those have been some of our most fun days. Trying to do as many attractions as we can because we're just not necessarily strolling along, but being a little more casual about how we're going through the park, and we don't have to strategize as much.
Yeah.
So we're not constantly checking our phone to see when we can get that next fast pass and, I'm over at Toy Story Mania, but I just got Smuggler's Run. Let me hurry up and run over there.
Right.
Or, this wait time's really short. Let me hurry up and get to that ride before the wait goes up. So it's just nice to not have that stress for a day. And I mean, we normally don't get stressed out because we live here and it's easier for us to go back and forth to the parks whenever we feel like it. Being able to have this service.
It is. You can stop and take your photos and post them on Instagram if you need to, and not have to worry about running from place to place all the time. So, but I mean, if you want to run from place to place, you can. You'll get in more attractions. There's no doubt about that. And all the tour guides, I think, are pretty well fit to do a lot of walking. So if you're hustling, they should be right behind you.
They're prepped for that.
So, yeah. It's a good time. Let us know. Have you guys ever tried a VIP tour guide before? What do you think? Are you interested in trying one maybe in the near future? Especially with everything that's been going on. Maybe you need to, as soon as they open back up, you need to get back down here and get a quick trip in, enjoy it all. VIP tour guide might be the way to go.
A lot of people are predicting that the parks are going to be super busy when they reopen.
I absolutely would think that they will be. Everybody's rescheduling.
Yep, because locals are going to be rushing over there, and then everybody that's rescheduling trips are going to be coming down right when it opens, if they're able to. So
a lot of people who booked video sessions with us have rescheduled, and it's crazy to think where they're going to be putting everybody with the already high occupancy that they have for rebooking. So we're just going to have to wait and see, but yeah. Cool. So, yeah, like I said, let us know. Have you ever tried one? Do you plan on trying one? What do you think? Don't like it? Think it's dumb? I don't know. Let me know. Let us know down in the comments below.
Oh my gosh.
Or in an email, phone call. We don't have a number, so don't try and call us.
And if you don't already know this and you're listening to the podcast, which I'm assuming you found our podcast from our YouTube channel, maybe, but we do always post a podcast video as well. So we put up like video clips and pictures from what we're talking about, whatever our topic is for the week. So
it's not just me hacking on water over here the whole time.
Yeah, I guess. Or you can just listen to the soothing sounds of our voice while you drive in the car.
Or while
run,
the soothing sounds of me coughing on water. Yeah.
I thought you muted your mic for that.
I think I did mute it for most of it.
Let's hope he did.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, and that's the Weekly Breakdown.